In this video, I'll introduce the recommended settings of an Inkscape file. First thing is about the page size. You have to go to the File menu and you will see the document properties. If you click on the document property, you will have a dialog box, and document property command here is also magnified. So if you look at this part in the middle, there's something called a custom size is also magnified here. That custom size for my window is set to 1650. But first you have to set this to pixels, which is more familiar size for the computer screen. But for printout quality, you may have to change that to different units, such as inches and millimeters, something like that. For the screen purpose, I choose to pixels. So here's my choice, 1650. But depending on your screen resolution, you may have to change that so that you have some sort of space to the right and left where we will put 2 additional dockable windows. Next one I want to adjust is this background part, which is down at the bottom of this dialog box, which is also magnified here. If you look at the background, there's a checkerboard background. I want you to unselect that. For the border, show page border, and do not select the second option, and show border shadow. You can experiment that down the road and you can change it later. But here's one thing I recommend is a background color. If you click on that, you can adjust that background color. So here it is. I click on that there. So this is the background color dialog box. The first tab is RGB. If you click on that RGB, you can change the level of red color and green and blue. And down there, this is alpha level. You can kind of barely see this vertical bar, but if you grab on that, move it around, you can change the alpha level. Right now, with this level of RGB is a white color. If you move it all the way to that, and it'll change, and I hope you can see it down there, it's a solid white color. But if you move it to the kind of center, it's a little bit of transparent now, and then if you move it all the way to the left, now this background is a perfectly transparent. What that means is that if you if you export this file, the background will be transparent background. So only the content part will be embedded into wherever background you are putting this onto. So that's it for this document property part, and let's close that window. Next thing we're going to do is this dockable window. We're going to pull up these 2 dockable window and put it up in here and there. For that, we have to adjust this preference. So you have to go to Edit menu, and all the way down there, there's a preference. Also, I think I magnify that. Let's see if I can make it small down there. No, I didn't, but you heard me. Edit and preference, go there, and then you can find these interface, and underneath it there's a window. That part's magnified here, interface and a window. And if you choose that window, if you look at the right side, you can find this dialog behavior, which is magnified here, dialog behavior, and choose floating. Then each of the dialog box and will appear as a floating box here. So let's go ahead and pull up this 2 dialog box I was talking about. Let's go to Object menu and select the Fill and Stroke. It's pretty much at the top. So you can, we will be using this dialog box a lot. Make it a bit smaller here, put it to the right side so that you can access all these options here easily while we're working on this main area. The second dialog box is optional, but often we use that a lot. And that appeared in the same menu, Object. Go all the way down. There's a Align and Distribute. If you click on that, You have the second dialog box, make it narrow as possible and put it up there. Then you can use these two things at the same time, readily available. All right, let me use an example to explain the use of these boxes. For example, if you want to adjust this one, right now I select this text part, I want to put it in the center of this one, then you can use this align and distribute, and you can go to the first part and choose the page that's going to be adjusted relative to the page. If you want to horizontally center it in there, in this page, you can choose this menu in here. Hopefully this picture is self-explanatory. So if you put it in there, it's going to choose a center position right in there. So we do this adjustment a lot, and we change the border color and fill color a lot. So these fill and stroke, align and distribute are very frequently used dialog box. And that concludes this document setting part. I will see you in the next video.